Hello and welcome to the news from Bahrain International. I'm Sarah Lebreik. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdel Rashid Al-Zayani, met today with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Libya, Dr. Najla Al-Mangoush, currently visiting the Kingdom of Bahrain. During the meeting, they discussed the close brotherly relations between the two countries, aspects of bilateral cooperation in various fields, and ways to develop joint cooperation to serve the common interests of the two brotherly countries and people. They also discussed developments in the situation in Libya and international efforts aimed at strengthening security, peace and stability, and reaching a political solution to the Libyan crises in a way that preserves Libya's sovereignty and independence, stops interference in its international affairs, and holds parliamentary elections on time to achieve the aspirations of the brotherly Libyan people. The two sides also discussed the current political developments in the Arab world and the efforts being made to strengthen the unity of the Arab ranks and advance the march of joint Arab action in addition to regional and international issues of common interest. The meeting was attended by Undersecretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Political Affairs, Dr. Sheikh Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, and Head of the Arab and African Affairs, Ahmed Mohammed Al-Traifi. From the Libyan side, present were Deputy Director of International Cooperation, Ashraf Mohammed, and the Libyan Charge d'Affaires in Bahrain, Khalifa Mohammed Abu Harara. Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture Minister Wael bin Nasser Al-Mbarak, along with relevant officials, paid an inspection visit to Sitra Port. Al-Mbarak stressed that the ministry will continue providing or improving the services it provides to fishermen by developing services in ports and modernizing the infrastructure of the fishing sector to meet the needs of its workers, which will contribute to increasing food production. He said that the visit aims at inspecting the areas in the ports that the private sector can invest in to support the fish industry, stressing that the private sector is a key partner in the kingdom's efforts to increase food production. Al-Mbarak stated that the ministry is conducting a comprehensive and integrated study of these ports in order to develop them and provide more facilities to meet the needs of fishermen and workers in the fishing industry, as well as provide the infrastructure that this profession requires to serve workers in this field. It has also developed an integrated plan to maintain the level of services and ensure continuous maintenance of the ports. They indicated that the Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture Ministry's interest in developing the kingdom's fishing ports stems from the directives of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa to devise and implement a strategic plan to increase national food production, noting that the projects enjoy the constant support of the government led by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. Al-Mbarak asserted that the ministry has already started implementing its strategy to develop the kingdom's 11 ports, adding that the maintenance work for the ports is continuing and is carried out in stages according to the allocated budget and in coordination with the relevant authorities. Industry and Commerce Minister Abdullah bin Adel Fakhru held a meeting with South Korean Minister for Trade Ahn Dakigung in the presence of Ambassador Fatma Abdullah Ta'an and a number of officials from both sides. The meeting came on the sidelines of the official visit of the high-level Bahrain economic delegation to South Korea. The minister affirmed the strong relations between Bahrain and South Korea, highlighting the importance of exchanging visits in enhancing commercial and industrial cooperation. The Undersecretary of the Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture, Sheikh Mohammed bin Ahmed Al Khalifa, announced that the 11,847 requests for restoring and installing waterproofing were completed between 2006 and last year. He explained that this year, the waterproofing requests have amounted to 113 requests, while maintenance and restoration requests have reached 126, with a completion rate of 90%. He pointed out the ministry is working in coordination with the municipal councils to complete the requests within the approved budget, while providing the best services to the beneficiaries to meet their housing needs. The second Deputy Chairman of the Shura Council, Dr. Jihad Abdullah Al-Fadil, chaired the second session of the 10th Consultative Meeting of the Association of Senates, Shura and Equivalent Councils of Africa and the Arab World, themed the importance of green economy in achieving sustainable development in Africa and the Arab world, held in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Al-Fadil has called to launch a joint Arab-African platform to support renewable energy projects. She pointed out to the continued role directives which support the initiatives and endeavours of international parliaments aimed at achieving progress and development for countries and people. Implementation of a final criminal judgment issued by the competent court to confiscate those funds obtained from money laundering crimes. The public prosecutor and head of the Office of International Cooperation and Human Rights at the Public Prosecution Office stated that within the framework of international judicial cooperation and based on coordination between the public prosecution offices of the Kingdom of Bahrain and the State of Kuwait in the field of implementing judicial rulings in both countries, Bahrain refunded assets represented in cash and shares amounting to about $280 million to Kuwait. This comes within the framework of implementing the obligations of the Kingdom of Bahrain to combat money laundering and to activate the rules of international judicial cooperation, especially among the countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council, based on the investigations of the National Center for Financial Investigations at the Ministry of Interior, which managed to monitor those funds, and after taking legal measures where the judgment was approved by the High Criminal Court in the Kingdom of Bahrain in accordance with the requirements of the law. The sums were transferred to the Ministry of Justice in Kuwait, while the shares were placed at its disposal. The judgment was implemented in two stages in light of the measures taken. The first was to return an equivalent to $100 million in cash and shares, while the remainder was recently returned with what it is estimated at about $180 million in the second phase, bringing the total refund to about $280 million. Towards empowering Bahraini youth looking for work and providing them with the basic scientific and applied expertise and professional certificates that make them the premier choice for the local labor market in the public and private sectors, the Bahrain Institute of Public Administration, BIPA, offers the Khibrat program in cooperation with a number of strategic partners in the public and private sectors represented by the Ministry of Labor, JAFCON and Hope Talents. The program will empower young Bahraini job seekers by developing their learning skills and providing them with practical experience through on-the-job training in private sector institutions. The Khibrat program is a program that integrates the professional leadership and specialized training needed by young Bahrainis and the hands-on training based on applied projects. The health sector in the Kingdom of Bahrain enjoys continued support and wise directives from His Majesty the King and follow-up from His Royal Highness the Crown and Prime Minister. The development in the health sector in the Kingdom, which is reflected in the provisions of healthcare services in accordance with the highest levels of quality, and the pediatric department in Salmania Medical Complex is witnessing a development in providing medical care to all patients, citizens and residents according to the highest medical protocols. The health cadres working in the pediatric department at Salmania Medical Complex seek to serve a larger number of patients, reduce waiting lists and provide the best health services to citizens and residents in a manner that embodies comprehensive health coverage and is in line with the initiatives to develop the health sector in the Kingdom. The pediatric department at Salmania Medical Complex is witnessing a great development in the provisions of health services, which contribute to achieving the Kingdom's vision of providing health services at the highest levels of quality, excellence and competitiveness. Salmania Medical Complex strives to continuously meet the secondary and tertiary healthcare needs to the citizens and residents of Bahrain in the most effective and efficient manner possible at all highest levels of quality within its available resources. Additionally, Salmania Medical Complex functions as a teaching and research center for health professionals. The Bahrain Tourism and Exhibitions Authority BTEA yesterday hosted the third weekly raffle draw of the Manama Gold Festival. Receipt holders included citizens, visitors and GCC residents participated in the draw, in which 13 valuable prizes were given out in Souq al-Manama. As many as 416 gold, jewelry and pearl shops are participating in the second edition of Manama Gold Festival, which kicked off on April 13th and runs until May 27th. The festival offers weekly promotions to the Manama market visitors. In addition, raffle draws are held on a weekly basis to offer distinguished prizes for lucky shoppers. The festival features distinguished shows by jewelry designers and goldsmiths, a retail market, various musical and artistic performances, as well as artworks that reflect the history of goldsmithing and the ancient jewelry industry in the kingdom. A series of specialized workshops will also be held on the sidelines of the festival. They will focus on introducing types of gold and jewelry and their prices, the art of goldsmithing, the art of designing jewelry and ornaments, the basics of making gold jewelry, and how to convert the design idea into a three-dimensional drawing on paper. The Kingdom of Bahrain has welcomed the signing of the Jeddah Declaration between the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces in the Brotherly Republic of Sudan regarding the commitment to protect civilians and to facilitate their movement and access to humanitarian and medical aid in accordance with the principles of international humanitarian law and international human rights law. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs commended the role of the Brotherly Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the friendly United States of America to resolve the Sudanese crisis through peaceful dialogue, hoping that this declaration would constitute an important step towards an immediate and permanent ceasefire and a comprehensive and final settlement of the armed conflict. This comes in light of the commitment of all Sudanese parties to give priority to wisdom and the supreme national interest, to respect the sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity of the state, to protect its international and civil institutions, and to meet the aspirations of its brotherly people for security, peace, stability and development. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs in a statement commended the efforts and good offices of the Brotherly Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the friendly United States of America to resolve the Sudanese crisis through peaceful dialogue, hoping that this declaration would constitute an important step in the path of an immediate and permanent ceasefire and a comprehensive final settlement of the armed conflict, in light of the commitment of all Sudanese parties by giving priority to wisdom and the supreme national interest. Respecting, therefore, the sovereignty, unity and territorial integrity of the state, protecting its national and civil institutions, and fulfilling the aspirations of its brotherly people for security, peace, stability and development.